Okay. Coming in 5, 4.
It's been a minute since we've had an introduction. What's going on, Mr. Todd? How are you?
Everything is going on.
All right, so I'm going to ask the control room to take the number A off of the feed into the control room because I've got echo out here. How about that? Chris?
I can hear you any better?
No, it's not. All right. Give me 1 second, guys. Sorry.
So, it's good fall season out here. Weather changing. Thursday night football's going on. I'm not sure, who's going to win, but the players out there, and they'll let us know. The Eagles, that's Monday night. Monday night against the Packers. We'll see about that. I'm not going to talk about my team right now.
How about now?
Echo.
It's echo. All right, guys, we're gonna be back. Chris, put us in the countdown again, guys. I'm sorry. We're gonna fix this before we do this interview. Mark with NECANN, just hang on 1 second. We'll be right back. Chris, put us into a 5-minute countdown, please, and we'll fix this issue. Check 1, 2.
Check 1, 2.
All right. How about some music? We got music? Come on. There we go. What's up, guys? You know how some nights it's certain things, it's more trying than others. So tonight we just had to fix something that wasn't working right. We had this terrible echo, and we fixed it, and now we're back. So, guys, welcome back. Late Night Green interview edition. It's been a minute since we've done an interview, and we're excited about today. I can hear myself again. Hello? Welcome, Todd.
So what's going on, man? It's, you know,
How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. You know, this daylight saving time is, you know,
It's messing you up?
remnants, man. You know, killing everything out here. You know what I'm saying?
It's messing you up, huh?
Yeah.
So
It's too dark, too early.
It is too dark, too
You know what I'm
early.
saying? Well, actually, there's benefits of that. Late night green starts a little earlier because
Yep.
as soon as it gets dark, I got that feeling.
Right on, right on. All right, so tonight, guys, we have an interesting thing. If you guys remember a few weeks back, I'd say about a month ago, we did a story about a situation that we had about not getting some press passes from NECANN. And so we did the story, and you know, and I guess it got everybody moving in the right direction. Would you say?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
So
yes.
it got us in the right direction, but it also got NECANN in the right direction. And tonight we have Marc here, and we're going to introduce to him in a minute. But just guys, so you get caught up, we got a really short clip of kind of how this whole thing started, and then right on the backside we'll bring Marc in and we'll talk about it. So go ahead and play that video, please. NECANN show while we were taking our break was in Atlantic City, and we applied for press passes. We applied for under Cough Country News to come and cover the event. These guys didn't approve our press passes, and like my whole thing is like, okay, you don't approve the press pass, big deal, but you're in the cannabis industry. This is an emerging industry.
Yeah.
Okay. You've got all of this activity and excitement. why would you limit anybody, specifically companies that have any type of platform whatsoever? Why wouldn't you want them there to tell your story? So what we got here is, if you can just hit pause on that, Chris. So after this, we got this nice response back, because you don't usually receive a response after, you kind of make a video like that. And again, we were really clear in the video about how we wanted to work with NECANN, but it says, well said. This is what Mark wrote. Well said. Appreciate your thoughts. Sending an email to connect. Would love to talk about what happened and discuss potential future collaboration. And listen, I couldn't have appreciated that more. And I wrote this myself. Mark, we appreciate your response and look forward to our conversation. And so let me introduce to you guys to the show tonight. Let me introduce Marc Shepard. He is the founder of NECANN. If you can come back to us, Chris, if you could, please. And if you could go ahead and bring Mark up, if you could. There he is. What's going on, Mark? How are you?
I'm doing great, guys. Can you hear me?
We can't hear him. Can we, control room? Can we, how about now, Mark?
Can you hear me now?
We sure can. Welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Sorry about the technical faux pas, but we decided we were going to fix it before we could hear ourselves echoing for during the whole interview. So I just want to start this whole thing. First of all, thanks for being here, but I want to start this whole thing by thanking you for handling the situation the way you did. It's very much appreciated. And Chris, you can put him on the back screen here if you want as well. But I just wanted to go ahead and say thank you very much from the Late Night Green Show and Cough Country TV for handling it that way. You did build the bridge and allowing us to go ahead and reach out to you and have that conversation. And, you and I had a great conversation. Matter of fact, you came right out of the gate and said, hey, I'll let you explain it. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but you really came forward and kind of talked about it. We appreciate that. And this interview is not about that. We just wanted to give everybody a little insight on how this whole thing came to be. And then we're going to dig deep into NECANN, how it started, you, and where this is all going in the future. But give us a little thoughts on what you might have, what you told me on the phone. Can't hear
And
him.
honestly, when I saw the video that you guys did, I appreciated how you guys did it. Typically, you'll get maybe a very strongly worded, obscenity-riddled response via email. F you, we're gonna trash you guys, blah blah blah. And you guys were just honestly, hey, this is how we feel. And I was like, yeah, that's terrific. That's a conversation. We can do that all day. So It was great to have that conversation. And long story short, I'm sure you guys can imagine as the internet has become more and more the driver of all media, in the cannabis space, I don't know, are there 10,000 podcasts? Are there, 1 million people that consider themselves influencers? And as we do these shows, and we've been doing New Jersey since 2019, you get up to that point where now, you get a couple hundred press requests, and you do your best to flip through them all, but sometimes you're just like, yeah, every person who's ever recorded a video says, I'm a media channel, give me free pat. They just want to free pass you.
Yeah, that must be challenging. Yeah.
Recordings, they're not going to interview people, they're not going to do anything, they just want to get in free. And so sometimes as we're going through that process, we might get a little lazy or overwhelmed and say, I've never heard of this guy, we've already got 70 people from press, so let's just say no to everybody else. And that's really what happens sometimes, but it really shouldn't be that way.
Well, that's very understandable.
It really is. But tell everybody how many, because when I spoke to you, it's easy for me to sit from my seat and my perspective and say, hey, we should have gotten consideration. But tell everybody how many you actually were dealing with, because when you told me, I was just like, holy shit, it was kind of mind-boggling, and you kind of do have to turn it off in a while.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, I don't remember. I'm already doing them for Boston for next year because we have a couple hundred. So I don't remember for specifically whether it was 70, whether it was 100. I actually don't remember. But
it's a lot.
A lot. Just,
yeah.
It was a lot. It's certainly for New Jersey. It's triple. It's it's three figures of people, and again, probably of those, if we get 100, I would say 65 outlets we haven't heard of, and we have to research them, So, hey, we're in the business. I'm not crying, but it is, it's an extra layer of work for a guy, running his company out of his spare bedroom, to do that work of looking up and trying to vet people and see who's just trying to get a free pass,
That's
and then
right.
who's actually going to interview people and earn a free pass by being a media member.
Yep. And see,
It
and
was
this
easier
is
back in the old days.
very much so easier back in the old days. And I will say this, I mean, it just kind of shows you that from a perspective, everyone has a perspective. He's got a small business and he's running this. We got a small business. We're doing what we're doing. And sometimes we just don't think about like what somebody else has got on their
to go through
and what they're going through, what's on their plate. And so it does become quite challenging. So Mark, let's not spend any more time talking about that. Let's spend some time talking about NECANN. Before we dig into your background, why don't you tell us what NECANN is and what you guys do?
Sure. Going back to 2014, 2015, I was in the alt-weekly media world, a weekly newspaper, alt-weekly press, and we covered a lot of progressive topics, one of them being cannabis legalization, normalization, and we started doing events promoting the legalization of cannabis. And when we did our first sort of major event with speakers and bringing people together to try to get rec passed, it was just an eye-opener of how badly the community wanted this and how many people were ready to get educated. People like knocking the door down saying like, my mother has problems, my grandfather has problems. What is medical cannabis? Can it help this person in my family? And it really opened our eyes. And sprang out of was events that were based on, before the industry was open, community and education, and everything was about medical. And as things progress, more people come in, and the events have slowly evolved. But what hasn't changed is in every market we're in, we start by trying to bring the local community together and the local thought leaders and the people doing the work, bring them in the room, and then that will attract outside attention and people that want education. So we've always built from the inside out.
Gotcha. And when did it all start, Mark?
Our first official NECANN event was February 2015 in Boston.
Wow, so
Gotcha.
that's
So
10 years.
And our first show outside of New England, first successful show outside of New England was New Jersey. We went to other places, but the markets didn't open up, so we had to just shut the shows down.
And so in terms of New England, we're talking about states that you've operated in is like New Jersey, Massachusetts, New York. Am I missing any?
Well, when we in our first 5 or 6 years, we were doing an annual show in Maine, Rhode Island, Connecticut, Massachusetts. Then we expanded to New York, New Jersey. We also did shows in Reno, Salt Lake City, Illinois, Michigan. But again, the ones that have had the long standing have mostly been New England and then New Jersey, and now we're expanding to Pennsylvania and Minnesota.
Gotcha.
Wow.
And did you grow up in the Northeast?
Yeah, I'm in Massachusetts, but I'm actually right over the border. I grew up right outside of Providence, Rhode Island.
Okay, cool. Excellent.
Right. Nice town.
So in the early days, what were some of the biggest challenges you had to deal with in terms of executing these shows, and I guess what were some of the earliest challenges you were facing when you were putting these together?
I mean, probably the biggest challenge was the fact that I had no idea what I was fucking doing, doing trade shows. So, the first thing I did was I bought tickets to every other show that was going on and kind of learned the business, but then also just trying to tread the water of, how can you promote that? You go back 10 years. How do you promote a cannabis event? Nobody would accept advertising. You don't have a built-in email list. We didn't have a lot of ways. So just learning how to connect with the community, spread by word of mouth, make partnerships with the people that already had lists, and really it was building, and then just dealing with the stigma. My wife is a teacher in the town we live in. I was a little league sports coach, and it's just that thing of suddenly, like, if I was a beer distributor, no one would care. But, you know, I was
So
doing
how'd
cannabis
you
shows
overcome
10
that?
years ago. There was, you know, people were like, what do you, well, what, you know, I don't want my son's coach to be a drug dealer. You know, literally I would get emails like that. I'm like,
Wow.
So it must have been a lot of contemplating from the start. Yeah.
well, necessity drives it, right? I was in print media, you know, and I was just like, this is dying. This has to work. I got to jump into something that works. So, but there was a lot of sleepless nights and a lot of, you know, 80, 90-hour work weeks because, you know, it's not like I was funded or whatever. I had a partner, but he was broker than I was. And, you know, we were just trying to do it on a shoestring from, you know, just learning as we go.
And really, Mark, it's like, you know, it's pioneers like you that got into it when you did, and it's not an easy thing because, you know, you're damn near a criminal for doing nothing. You or at least you feel one. And the way you're alienated, you're right. The way a community acts and feels about it. I guess the idea of understanding it as a medicine today is certainly different environment than it was in 2015. But nonetheless, people still feel the way they do, and it does carry stigmas and connotations with it. I mean, I commend you, you know, for doing that, and you know, we fight that same battle with getting content out. I mean, we're going to talk on our next show that we do tonight, the late night show, and you're welcome to stay for that if you want. But you know, there's a Burger King story about Burger King and how some weed showed up in some kid's chicken fries.
Yeah, I heard about that.
And they won't let me do the fucking story. Like I've done this story, try to do it 16 ways to Sunday, and yet they keep banning me. And you go on, and there's 6 other news companies that have done it, and they have no problem because, you know, they wear a suit and look different, I guess, when they're doing their broadcast. I don't see the difference. We're going to call it out tonight, but that is the type of thing that you had to deal with early on. I know some people in the business that were even prior to, you know, 2015, and, you know, they're damn near outlaws, frankly. They were just damn near outlaws.
Right.
And here they are, you know, kind of, you know, revered at this point. You know, folks like that are kind of revered for their longevity and what they did in sticking it out. So
and those people that were loud, they risked a lot. I mean, I've lost my banking. You know, I've like both professional and personal. Like, you know, just get the note in the mail from, you know, you, your wife, your kids, your accounts are all closed. Here's your money back. Get out. You know.
Wow.
And, you know, having your business, you know, in the middle of trying to execute a show, have your banking shut down. Our payment processor has been shut down 3 times. So we have to deal with that nonsense, but it's the advocates, the people that put themselves out there and risked, you know, the early on people who we would have as speakers. Yeah, they were the trailblazers and the people that really, they risked a lot. And any accolades they get now, they certainly deserve it because
they really
were standing
do.
alone 10 years
I got to tell you, I wouldn't even mind doing some sort of feature as time, like maybe start to pick these people out who really were the trailblazers.
The struggle. Because
there are some people who paved the way for any of this and all of this to happen, and it really is amazing if you really kind of look into it. So with NECANN, what did the growth years look like? You obviously did shows in multiple states. You know, do you have some people that are still participating with NECANN that were there from day one? I'm assuming you've got some of those folks involved.
We do. You know, there's been so many changes in the industry. There aren't many. You know, a lot of people get bought up. A lot of people, unfortunately, fail in their endeavors, or they leave the space or whatnot. But yeah, we have a small group of people that were at the first Boston NECANN that will be at the 12th one in 2026 for sure.
That's really cool.
Longevity.
Yeah, it's been great to grow with those people.
It really has. It's really great to hear. Go ahead, Mark. Go ahead.
So how is the banking end of it now? Is it a little more accessible? Is it easier now? Or?
Well, I mean, it really depends on the relationship. Like I just my family's personal banking just got shut down last November. So, you know, it's still there. My suggestion to anyone that gets in, you know, when you go to a bank and say, will you take my business? You're typically talking to a salesperson. You know, they're behind the desk. They look like a manager, but that person's job is to get new accounts. So they're just going to say yes. but they don't have the authority to say yes. So they take it, and then 6 months later, somebody does an audit of all the new accounts, and some vice president something says, wait a minute, this is cannabis industry, shut them down. So what we finally did after the third time, we went to a local bank and said we wanted to open it. When the person said yes, we said no, we want to meet with your vice president of business banking, and we want to sit down and have a long conversation and tell them exactly what we do, how we do it, and what they need us to do in order for them to work with us. And so we have a special relationship. If I come in with cash from a show, they're going to say, where's this money coming from? If I come in with a huge check, where's this money come from? When we make withdrawals, we have to explain what we're doing. But it's a trust thing, and they're covering themselves. And it's worth that extra step when you open a business in the cannabis space to meet with the senior management at the bank and clear the air so that you get the okay from the person who later is going to look at your account.
Man, I think that's amazing to point out because, I think what we have to draw from that is that when you're in the cannabis business, doing business and banking is not the same.
All right.
It's not even close to being the same. Let me ask you this, Mark. Do they go as far as asking who are the participants in this and whether they are appropriately licensed and so forth, or is it not to that degree?
Well, they were very frank with us. Is there cannabis at your event? Do you sell it, everything? So, we passed the bar. We're a B2B show, so there isn't cannabis at our events. So, we were able to pass that. We were also lucky enough to bank we're at. We didn't get those, what I would just call, whatever you want to call them, horrible rates or exorbitant rates, where a lot of these banks now come out of the woodwork and say, we're cannabis friendly. And by cannabis friendly means we'll take your money we'll pay you 1/3 the interest and charge you 10 times the fees. And I'm like, I don't know how that's cannabis friendly. You're cannabis fucking me, but
yeah. Yeah, no shit. And they probably did that with a smile on their face too, didn't they?
Yeah, I guess it's opportunity.
Some of the places that people would come to you and go, oh, we love the cannabis industry. We're cannabis friendly. I'm like, yeah, you're a loan shark. And it's like loan sharks love gamblers, whatever. So we were lucky enough to get a bank that was genuine and just said, no, we'll take you on, but you do have to agree, to answer more questions than the average.
And I think I think that's more than reasonable. I can tell you that our experience with Cough Country TV was the same thing. I kind of had to go the extra mile and explain to them what exactly we do, that actually we don't sell weed out of our studio. What we do is we create content for the purposes of helping the industry create advertising promotional opportunities. And so I think when you have a bank that's willing, or a banker that's willing to at least say, hey, let's talk a little bit more about it, let's ask the extra questions. And while that may be a pain in the ass for people who do business normally outside of cannabis, I think it's a step forward in the sense that, hey, we're starting to get some level of acceptance with this. And, for those people who as we say, fuck the industry, I say we remember who those folks are and the names, because they're the same people when dereg's going to happen. They're the first one who's going to put that flyer in your hand and tell you how great their cannabis banking program is.
Exactly.
That's such a great point. Yeah. And I have a list. I come from media, so I come from advertising. Right. So early on, I knew all the people. I called everybody up. Hey, can I run a print ad here? Can I run radio ads here? Blah, blah, blah. Those first few years, you had all those people. We can't take those ads. We can't take those ads. As soon as it became legalized, those people knocked on my door. Hey, great news. We can take your money now. And I was like, hey, here's great news. Fuck off. Like when we needed you, when we were launching the business, we came to you and you said, get away, you're gross. We don't want to deal with you. Now that the risk is over and all your competitors proved it safe, now you'll take my money?
Yep. Fuck off.
So I have my list of media outlets that I'll just never do business with.
Well, good. And if you, next time you come back, if you want to put that list on the screen when we talk about it, I'm down with that too. Because I listen, I'm all about.
Absolutely.
I think those folks need to be called out. I mean, listen, if you say the wrong thing in this world, you can get canceled. And so I think if you play games with an industry and you're not reputable, listen, whatever happens to you happens to you. That's how I look at it. Yep. So So what about some of the things that are going on with NECANN today? Like as we, as you kind of evolved over the 10 years, what things have evolved, what things have changed. I talk to folks that are in the glass business, and there's tremendous change going on within glass right now. Tell us some of the things over the 10 years that you're seeing kind of up to where we are now.
Yeah, sure. I mean, for us, we kind of see ourselves as a mirror of the market we're in. So now that we've been in New Jersey for 6 years, we've seen that same sort of, transformation that we saw in Boston. Whereas that early show, everybody who was there was into education and opportunity and how do I learn how to, get through the licensing process, educate me on medical cannabis. But now, fast forward 5 or 6 years in New Jersey, the majority of our exhibitors are people that are up and running in the business, whether they're an ancillary business or an open retail store or a brand, and they're looking to expand and gain market share. So it's a lot more of a CPG show, a consumer packaged goods show, even as we still have ancillary products. And we just launched our first NECANN cup in New Jersey last year, which is a cannabis cup.
Okay, cool. And with the and how did that go? Like, what were the results of that, and what did you experience with that as you're going to do this again next year?
Yeah, I mean, it was an amazing first year. It was actually like 40% larger than our first year in Boston. We had over 200 entries. It was all New Jersey licensed operators, so you had to be a licensed cultivator or a brand in order to enter. And we curated the judges from the New Jersey community and market. We did the award show at NECANN on Friday. We had tremendous response to it. I worked with a gentleman by the name of Mike Clinton, who's been doing competitions for a decade in New England. He has an amazing system that he's put together himself, a judging platform and everything. And it's just a great way for New Jersey to showcase its product. It's all well and good. Word of mouth is terrific and this or that, but to be able to put your stuff against the rest and the best of the best in the state and come away and say, people think we're number one. I think it's an important step for the New Jersey market, especially as people from California and from Colorado are coming in trying to take market share with their brands. Mm-hmm. I think it's important for the New Jersey growers to say, we know how to do it. It's great to have stuff from the outside, but we know what we're doing.
I couldn't agree more because this whole thing's been a West Coast game since the beginning, and so outside of like big events like Boston Freedom Rally and things along that line, there are no real competitions here for folks in specifically, like you mentioned, New Jersey. Our friends over at Cushy Labs and with the Clear and they had an opportunity to gain I think they got a second place on one of their carts. I think it's really important for that to be there, and I know they appreciate it as well because they use that in their marketing and they can talk that up. So that's an awesome
Absolutely.
thing. What about are you doing any of the glass blowing exhibitions, or is that what's going on with that? I know I saw something I think in your ad or your circular.
Not really our niche because we're more that B2B, and like a Champs Trade show will have a great glass component and probably glass growers, and other shows do it. And I'm not saying we would never do it, but it's not our main focus. We're more about advancing people and businesses through themselves. So one of our biggest initiatives is social equity, and we partnered with 420 NJ Events the last 3 years in New Jersey, and we donate 10% of the exhibit floor to people that have social equity licenses, whether they're in the application process or they're already open. So, if we have 200 booths, we have at least 20 social equity booths every year that we donate, and we kind of just give them a platform, make sure that they're in the mix for speaker spots, and just kind of level the playing field so everybody has an opportunity. And again, it's about getting people from New Jersey and the state itself benefiting from this. And that's the important piece for people to remember. When tax money and sales are made, is it staying with your neighbors in your community, or is it getting shipped out to the to the MSO or the corporation that owns it out west. So we just want to get as many people who live in New Jersey licensed and in the system and benefiting from this as possible.
Yeah. Well, as you think about the markets that you're going to enter, and I guess it depends on the activity in that state. How do you feel about Pennsylvania? The future of Pennsylvania.
Well,
going
I'm lucky
legal?
enough to be partnering with a gentleman who is I don't know if you guys know Jack Weber. He does one of the Pennsylvania Cannabis festivals out in Pittsburgh, and we did a medical show in Pittsburgh with him last year. So he's pretty well versed and well connected in it. I mean, Pennsylvania right now reminds me of Massachusetts in 2015, 2014, where it just feels inevitable. People want it, but it just never seems to get past the finish line. And there's so many the devil's in the details. Everybody wants it done, but everybody thinks it should be written differently. Hard to get a consensus, hard to get the government to work with you. But is it going to happen? Of course it is. And that's why we're setting our shop up now, to have a place for people to get together, to have a positive business atmosphere, so people who are on the fence can look and say, well, what is this? Is this a pot festival? And you're like, no, this is science, this is technology, this is doctors, this is scientists, this is serious business and serious money, and you should jump on board.
That's right. Yep, that's right.
People are just not potheads. It's a little bit deeper than that.
And so, listen, we reported last week that the Senate bill in Pennsylvania has come out of committee. So that is some level of forward movement, which is beyond where they got on the last one, because it got killed in committee. So this one got out of committee. So we'll see what happens. I know Pennsylvania is losing a shitload of revenue because of this, and it's also encouraging its citizens, or at least the advertising from New Jersey is encouraging Pennsylvania citizens to actually do something that's illegal, which is, hey, come on over the bridge, buy it, and drive home. I don't think that's how it was designed to work. So one of the things that we did a little bit of research on, Mark, as we know, is that you speak at the conferences that you put on. Am I correct?
Rarely, but I have.
Okay, so when you have, if I'm correct and my research is right, you've done some speaking about, I'll check my notes, but you're talking specifically to organizations on specifically best practices for cannabis conventions, design, vendor strategies, the attendee experience. I have some notes that also said that you've talked about how municipalities and zoning impacts, various business rollouts. You want to touch on any of that?
I mean, just from my experience of doing NECANN for 10 years and probably attending 200 other shows, I typically do that. I typically talk about how people can maximize their ROI at events, not just conventions, but any kind of event.
Switch the shot. Hang on a second. Chris, if you could switch the shot, please. There we go. Yeah, we're still good. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, no problem. I typically would be speaking about, events themselves and how to maximize ROI. There's a lot of people that first-time attendees or first-time exhibitors, they know that they should be there, but you don't want to spend all the money and learn what you don't know at the show itself. So I like to help people and do those kind of talks, and then sometimes you can talk about your own experience. When you were younger and cannabis was illegal, and just your own journey to becoming an advocate and helping normalization and legalization.
Gotcha. Also, there was you specifically, I guess I have some quotes here from you as well. What was that?
So how big is your team? So you've been doing this for 10 years, and I know you did a lot, working out of your basement, working 80, 90 hours a week. I know at some point, it gets not sustainable. So how big is your group now?
5 people that work either full-time or close to full-time with me at NECANN. Two guys I know from Maine, from when I lived in Maine and worked in the newspaper, and then a saleswoman in Michigan, and then our head of partnerships and community development. She lives in Texas. So it is funny. We're never together except at our events. We get together maybe once or twice a year, but it's the ultimate virtual office.
Nice, nice. So I did find that quote that I have, and I don't know if this is accurate or not. You'll tell me, Mark, if it's not. But it says here, a quote from you, you've got to be connected. You've got to have a lot of cash flow, and you've got to be prepared to get shut out, even if you do everything right. Do you remember making that quote?
I do not.
Okay.
Doesn't mean I didn't say it.
No, listen. You could read me half the things I say, and I'll say I don't know if I said that or not. So
it's nicer than a lot of things I've said, but it is true, and that's the thing that will come to pass in Pennsylvania, and it's one of my little pet peeves is that right now in Massachusetts. Some of the dispensaries are going out of business. The average rate's going down. Margin is getting tighter, and so people's observation is like, oh, the industry's in trouble, and actually the reverse is true. What it means is it's such a good opportunity and such a strong place. There's more people that want in than can be sustained, and I look at the analogy. I just say, well, football season starts. 90 people try out for the Eagles. Well, 45 of them are going to get cut. Does that mean the Eagles are in trouble? No, it means only the best 53 are going to make it. And that's what happens in cannabis, and that's why that quote is true. You can do everything right. You can be good, but what if 200 people do everything right and have cash flow and do everything, but there's only room for 100 successful businesses? Half are going down.
Or what happens if you were promised that a particular state's only going to have so many licenses in a city, and then they just change their mind, say 6 months after launch? You know what I'm talking about. Right. Yeah.
And that's probably the biggest headache in every state is if you plan ahead, you're wasting your time. Because 6 months from now the rules aren't going to be the same, and people that buy in bulk and here's what the rules are, and you set your parameters, and then they're like, oh, we changed the parameters, and all the work you did to set up to get two years worth of product at a certain level, well, now they change the level.
Usually, typically driven by greed as well. Typically, but
and also by, unfortunately, the people in charge don't know what they're doing. They're not. I mean, Massachusetts is a great example. When our board is called the Cannabis Control Commission. Well, the governor was anti-cannabis, so he's in charge of naming the board. He put 4 prohibitionists on the board, so they're just like, so what do you want us to do, boss? Slow it down as much as possible? Yep, and they're in charge.
So I hear, like in Maine, they're going after trying to make it not legal now.
Where?
In Maine?
Not legal?
Oh, Mass.
Is that Mass?
Yeah.
Well, they're trying to get enough signatures to put it on the ballot to make it illegal.
This is crazy.
That's not going to happen.
If they get enough signatures, but they're not going to get enough signatures.
Nah, you don't. This is one of those things that we've waited a lifetime to get, and there's no one's taking it away at this point. That's how I look at it. Not going anywhere.
No, me too. And
all right.
And you guys know, law enforcement already doesn't care. And that's the number one component. It's just like, you can say whatever law you want, but as soon as law enforcement doesn't care about enforcement, it's not going to go back. They're not going to suddenly start caring again. Yeah. Because they're like, we have bigger fish to fry.
And tonight, which you don't know, and maybe you know or don't know, but on tonight's show, we are covering, like, our main feature is we're doing like a watch along to the Weediquette from Vice, when he talks about driving stoned and he goes through various tests. It's very interesting to see that particular video. We're going to kind of stop and talk about it along the way. You're certainly more than welcome to hang out if you want to do that. But it is really, truly, in a way, it's kind of unbelievable, unfair, remarkable. All of these type of things you can all say at the same time about what's going on with this particular industry. So what can we look forward to moving forward to as we kind of wrap things up tonight? What can we look forward to from NECANN in 2026?
Well, I'm hoping an amazing on-site activation at our Pennsylvania show by you guys. Am I wrong?
No, you are not
Okay.
wrong, my friend. We'll be there.
No doubt.
Yeah. So that's, and eventually we hope to bring a cup to Pennsylvania, but our first year we're very excited and look forward to having more conversations with you guys and helping us build that, that base of support and local community to come out to the show. And,
Absolutely.
we typically just say, what can we do for you guys in the meantime to help move things along and, take your guidance and advice on how to do the best show for Pennsylvania.
Absolutely, and that's music. Oh, that's music to your ears and mine, right?
Yeah, and we're gonna make sure Phil is nice this time.
I think if I remember,
we didn't even come close.
No, we didn't even come close. But if I remember correctly, what I was saying is like if you don't want to give me a press pass, you give Mr. Todd one.
The Todd father,
but
he's
more likely to do a hit piece than I am. So we all had a good laugh about that. But no, Mark is straight up, and I will tell you this, Mark, we will be there to support everything that you do. We want to make sure that you know that when you're in town, be sure to come and sit with us and sit with us at the studio. You're more than welcome to be here in person with us anytime. We can't wait to participate in New Jersey and Mass and PA when I think we're going to be closer than we think to PA. So.
Yeah. No, I'm very excited. I look forward to working with you guys. It's going to be great. And if anything comes up in the meantime that we can help you guys with, we're always around and happy to help out. And really looking forward to Pennsylvania's the last state in the Northeast we haven't been in yet.
Man,
so
let's do it.
We're ready to just fill out the bingo card.
Yep, let's do it and fill in the card for sure. Well, I will tell you this, Mark. Not every situation like this turns out the way this does. I am thrilled to death that we were able to bring light to something without going overboard and then being able to be received in a way that allows for us to have a conversation like this tonight. So again, my truest appreciation for that. Again, thank you for joining us tonight. Is there any last word you have for him, Todd?
No, just circle your calendars, everybody. It's April 17th and 18th next year is the first Pennsylvania Cannabis Convention for NECANN. We're at the Philly Convention Center in a space about 400 times too big than we need, but we're happy to be there.
That.
And,
well aware of that arena.
Man, we're going to fill it up. We're going to fill it up, Mark. We're going to fill it up, brother. All right, so guys, we will be back in about 30 minutes. We've got a late night show for you tonight. Lindsay will be at the barbershop. She's got someone. We have a late night green barbershop, so someone's getting their hair cut tonight, and I don't even know who it is yet, but we're going to find out right after this show is over. So again, Mark, thanks. I'll give you a quick ring after the show here, just chat with you real quick. But thank you for being here, Todd. As always, enjoyed doing an interview with you. And I'll see you in a few minutes. So, guys, we will be back in about 30 minutes-ish. We're scheduled for 10. We're going to hope to hit 10, and we'll see you guys in a little bit. Be sure to like, subscribe, follow, and we will see you guys in a minute. Thanks.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.